All right, welcome. Well, we have mostly a familiar audience here today, and I'm always concerned that that will be disappointing to all of you, but I've been learning that it's not disappointing because you're very nervous, but you shouldn't be. So welcome. The good news is, even though we do have a visitor, so hi Tish, right? So that's excellent, thank you. Is there anybody else am I missing? I think everybody else is very familiar from our class. All right. Well, the good news, though, is that this is being recorded, will be archived in the library and made available on the library's YouTube channel. So even if there is not an audience in the room with us at this very moment, there is a potential future audience. So that, I think, is a good thing, because you've got plenty to share, plenty to inspire others. So come on in, George. All right. I've got the microphone. Okay. All right. Well, so as you all know, my name is Mike McGuire, and we're here with Composition 1 students, right? Composition 1 is a course that is designed to help cultivate college-level writing skills, critical thinking, and introduce the research process. This semester, all of you have been focusing your critical reading, writing, thinking, and research on the theme of education, the aims of education. Now, this is something that you've all been, of course, immersed in for most of your life. You've been a part of educational systems, a part of educational institutions, right? And when we're so immersed in something, it's very easy for us to be drenched in the normalcy of it, if you will. Where we stop thinking critically about these systems and what's at play. So we saw this course as an opportunity to direct our critical thinking towards education and higher education in particular. To do that, we engaged in many things, but one of the things we did, we engaged in a process called deliberative dialogue, where students worked together in small groups, in research writing groups, but in groups that came together to discuss in very critical and analytical ways difficult questions dealing with higher education. The overarching question they dealt with was, how should higher education help us create the society we want? During that discussion, students were asked to articulate their ideal vision for the kind of society we want, and in that process talk about the hopes they have for themselves pursuing higher education. They are also asked to study closely the obstacles that might be getting in the way of those ideals, and ultimately they are asked to develop a small set of actions towards positive change. How might we deal with these obstacles individually and in our communities? So the expectations are very high for the students. I understand that. I mean, how could we expect to solve these difficult problems that are plaguing higher education in just 17 weeks, right? Perhaps that was unreasonable. But I also think it's unreasonable to suggest that this was nothing more than a classroom exercise, because it was much more than that. One of the rules of deliberative dialogue is to listen for meaning, not for flaws, okay? To listen for meaning, not for flaws, when we're talking with one another. Every person has value in the authentic point of view that he or she brings to the conversation. So while you may hear your peers and others and your students and students up here struggling with some of these complex issues, trying to understand them, trying to propose ideas for action, I challenge you all not to listen for flaws, but rather to listen for meaning, okay? Listen to these students, listen for what they have to teach and what they have to learn. And after these presentations, I hope that we can enter into some conversation together about some of these issues, time permitting. Okay, I did distribute through the room this handout, questions weighing on students' minds. This is something that hopefully everybody has a copy of. These are questions that the students have recently submitted to me, things that the prompt for this was, write down a question, the answer to which might make your path through higher education easier, right? So this is pretty much captures the heart of the questions that were submitted. So perhaps we could use some of this for dialogue once the presentations are over. Again, time permitting. But if time does not permit, you all can weigh in the lower right-hand corner. You could offer some advice to these students after the fact by following that link. Okay? All right, without further ado then, we've got our first group. Anakin and group, come on up. clap. That's okay. Okay.
Hello, my name is Ines. I'm a student here in Morin Valley and I'm majoring in psychology.
My name is Angelo, and I'm a business major.
My name's Sam. I'm a computer science major.
My name is Anakin. I'm thinking about going into automotive.
My name's Jacob, and I'm majoring in biomedical engineering.
Racism Spring from Ignorance by Mario Balotelli. Today we're talking about sensitive subject, which is racism. Racism, what we mean by racism, it's even from means treating someone unfairly because of their nationality or color or race. We chose this subject because it's important because it was rooted in our history and embodied in our culture. Racism is one of the greatest barriers for solving all problems, and 88% of blacks compared to 38% of whites say enough changes have been made to equality for racial equality. 43% of blacks compared to 11% of whites say that U.S. will never make changes. 42% of blacks compared to 40% of whites say that U.S. will eventually make the changes. I took this information from poresearch.org. I had a personal experience with this, the racial racism, uh, which is at the airport when I came here. Uh, they were me and my family noticed like they were more conscious, like with searching our baggages. Uh, we were taken like a second row, put us on the side, and we were slowly searching us. So yeah, this is my personal experience. Uh, and we hope by this presentation we will change your mind about racism.
After learning such facts, we still have hopes in creating a safer environment for everyone of all races, whatever gender you are or whatever ethnicity you are. Uh, we know that we won't have an environment where it will be 100% racism free or discrimination free, but we're still hoping to make it safer so people feel more comfortable with who they are and so they can express themselves and their various cultures. We want to make sure that we dampen the effect of racism on the society, as I just said, to have everyone feel comfortable with who they are, not be afraid of what race or ethnicity they are, or whatever they celebrate. We see racism across all spectrums, including social media, the news, TV, books, and pretty much across all our society. And in the end, we want to move forward with these hopes in our hearts.
Even though we have such hopes, and we know realistically they probably won't happen, because there are many obstacles that we face day to day. It's just because some people are just too ignorant to change. A lot of people just feel as if like they're just really narrow-minded. They're just not willing to change because they believe in one thing. They have really strong beliefs, even though their beliefs may be wrong. But that's just something that they don't want to hear. And me personally, I've experienced racism when I was in Mississippi a few weeks ago. I was trying to go into a restaurant, and I had on joggers and a hoodie, and just I was relaxed, and they didn't let us in because we weren't properly dressed according to them. But the white family behind us, one of the kids had on the same thing that I was wearing, and they were just like, "Oh, go ahead." And they tried to say that we caused a big ruckus, and we really didn't. So they called the police on us, and we almost got arrested for trying to go into a restaurant and just eat and be with the family. So I mean, that's just some simple things, like something simple as just going out to eat. Is a problem that we came across just because the way we were dressed, but everybody knows that it wasn't because the way we were dressed. It was the color of our skin, And everybody knows that racism can be changed, but it's all about if the people are willing to change, and the people are not willing to change, then it's going to be really hard.
Knowing these obstacles, we came up with a few like action plans. We figured that maybe if more people took like courses such as African American literature or Latin American literature, they'd be more understanding of other races, and it'd be easier to communicate with people. Because I feel that's like a hard barrier to get past a lot of times. I know I've worked in plenty of jobs where I have to work with other cultures, mostly Mexican people at my job right now, and like sometimes I can't understand them, but I've been starting to pick up on a few words, and one of the guys is actually teaching me a little bit of Spanish so I can understand better, so I can work better there. We also decided that it would be a good idea to say like go join a club, find activities that are going on outside, and just see like what's going on, and pull as many people together as you can. From anything from like opportunities to just bring people together, maybe eat food like a spaghetti dinner or something, or bring people together just to sit around and listen to music, bring anything, just to bring multiple people together of different cultures.
Even though overall we heavily researched this subject and we have plenty of experience in it, there are still some questions we need to be answered. For example, would getting rid of racism mean also getting rid of freedoms like free speech? Because who here would honestly get rid of your free speech just to get rid of racism? And not many people would. And not many people in the real world would either. Could everyone respect each other without liking each other? That may sound a little confusing based on the wording, but say I met Angelo and I don't really like him, but maybe because I'm racist, maybe because I just don't like his personality, but he comes up to me, says hi, and we hold an actual conversation. I may walk away still not liking him, but I still respect him enough to hold a real conversation with him. Can everyone just accept what happened in the past and move on? There's a lot of people that deny that slavery was the main cause of the Civil War. And how can you move on to civil rights if you don't even accept that slavery was the main cause of it in the first place? You have to accept these things to even move forward with progression. These are the types of questions that need to be addressed before progression can even start. So I implore all of you to step up, speak out, to stop all of this hate. Because anyone can change the world, but someone has to be brave enough to start first.
Thank you. And we will take questions afterwards, after everybody is presented. So let's have our next group.
just scribbling up here. Give us a moment. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I just have a simple question. Is college worth it? And you may notice there's only 3 of us up here, and that's because 2 people said no. This simple comm class, it's relatively simple. There's much harder classes down the pipeline, and 2 people said no. And luckily, the average for finishing college within 6 years is 53%. 53% of people will say this is worth it. To the people who want to be doctors out there, this is worth it. To the people who want to be teachers, this is worth it. To the people who want to biochem, auto, the classes that require, or the fields that require this degree, either an associate's or a bachelor's or even a master's. That's how many people decided it was worth it. That started. Most of you will think your last day of college is when you graduate, is when you walk across that stage and then you go out the next night with your family or your friends and you party and you wake up a few days later and you don't know where you are. But the last day of college is when you click that last button for Sallie Mae or any other loans and you've paid off not the loan but the interest, and that will take the longest amount of time. They'll wait 3 months after you graduate to harass you. They'll wait 3 months to start the calls, start the emails, and then start taking wages if you can't make it. There's a few protections for that, but not honestly many. I've been through the college ring the first time. I have my associates, and it's at the moment pretty worthless to me. But I still had to make those payments, and luckily for scholarships, it wasn't that hard. But now I'm going through that again. And I'm scared, but at the same time, I think I know what I want to do. And my name is George Karras, and I'm going for my bachelor's in creative writing. Susanna here will tell you some of the even scarier things about it, and maybe some of the positives.
All right, is this one working? Okay, yes, all right. Hello, I'm Susanna Fudala, and I have decided on majoring in engineering. Don't know specifically what. So as George pointed out, that I will be talking about some personal experiences I had with college and applying for college and scholarships, and the worry about student debt from what I've heard of. Now, but back during my senior year of high school, I filled out a lot of applications, and I ended up getting 1 scholarship to St. Xavier and another grant to Elmhurst. However, I didn't really go to any of those schools, and I'm not really considering going to them, mainly because St. Xavier only offers 2 possible majors for me that I'm not really interested. And from what I have heard and researched, Elmhurst is pretty expensive, more expensive than what my grant could offer me now. I had also applied for a scholarship known as the Coca-Cola Scholarship, which awards $20,000 to any of the qualifying participants. So I figured, why not? I'll apply for it, maybe I'll get it. And I realized, while I was filling it out, that the scholarship was I did not have enough qualifications for it. I mean, it required a lot of things from its competitors. It required a lot of volunteer hours, involvement in clubs, basically above and beyond. And I kind of knew right then and there that I would not qualify for that. And well, I still kept looking for scholarships, but it was pretty difficult for me to find some. And at one point I did ended up stumbling into one website, which then turned out to be a scam, which luckily for me, though, I didn't enter any type of information that would have affected me badly. So, yes. But other than that, the more I looked into it, the more I couldn't really find any scholarships or grants, tailored towards me. Every one of them did have merit-based or athletic-based or some other equivalent, and I couldn't really find anything except for FAFSA. So that's why I ended up coming to Moraine as a primary reason. Even though for like the other colleges that accepted me, I would only need to pay like a small sum of about 1 to 2 grand. I still didn't really want to pay for it because I'd rather use my financial aid that I got from FAFSA and get a full, ride at a community college. But yeah, um, so yeah, there's that. Um, our teacher, Mr. McGuire, had provided us with a very lovely document, or rather book, called "Shaping Our Future," and in it they state that those who don't, those who do start college often have to go part-time, juggling work and study. And even when they finish their degrees, many leave school heavily burdened with college debt. Now, not everyone can necessarily get scholarships or grants. It can be very difficult, especially if you don't have the necessary qualifications, kind of like I had. I've been told that as long as I have good grades, I'll get a full ride. I only saw that in one college, and I'm not really that interested in that college, so it's kind of false in a way from what people are telling me. So there's that. So what we believe is that we think that, there should be more need-based scholarships and financial aid, because there's not everyone there that's going to have uh, qualifications, or they might not even be able to obtain them because they have other personal things. They might have to find a job and help support their parents, or they just might not succeed that well academically because they have struggles within some subject or something like that. Yeah. And then in another article, Time Magazine, well, as you can see here, excuse me, Chris. If you'd like to read it more, it's by Mark Kantrowitz from Time. It's called "Why Student Loan and Debt Crisis is Worse Than People Think." And in it, it says students who graduated with excessive debt are 10% more likely to say that it caused delays in major life events, such as buying a home, getting married, or having children. They are also about 20% more likely to say their debt influenced their employment plans, causing them to take a job outside of their field, to work more than they desired, or to work more than one job. We don't think that this is right, that students would have to major in something and then change their whole life or put their whole life on a pause just because they weren't awarded something that they needed desperately. Now, I will move on to my partner Chris, and he'll give you some more information that he has.
Hey, my name's Christian. I'm majoring in computer science. Right, so right now our main action is to support our students in scholarships. And by doing so is that I want you guys to go on to this website, Marine Valley. You guys should know that by now. Under that icon, it will be cost and aid, and underneath that, it will be scholarships. So underneath scholarships, you click that, and it will give you information on how to apply that. It will give you the amount of money, and it will give you if you're eligible for your GPA and requirements. And what our hope for is in the nearby future is that we usually want college to be free. And our hope for that is because that right now as a country we're so low in our educational system that college is too high of a price. But that being said, here are some statistics that George will give us.
I'm shocked at the moment. But yes, the average, as I said earlier, were 53% actually finish after 6 years. And in associate's degree, I believe it was less than 50% end up finishing, and cite some kind of major reason to that. 2 years thinking not worth it. And in our case, we actually beat the average. Three of us decided that this class was worth it, and the hours and the money we put in are going towards something positive, while 2 of us decided, well, no. And I hope that more than half of you end up finishing, because from what I've seen, a lot of you actually have the passion to do it. And for some of you, it might not be what you think. So I hope at the end, when you walk across that stage and after you click that button for that final time and pay off all that horrible creeping debt, that you're where you want to be and that it doesn't stop you. and all the other obstacles of life. So thank you very much for listening to us, and I hope you all stay awake.
Thank you. All right. Let's have our next group come on up. All right.
Okay. Imagine not being able to go to college because you don't have the money to pay for it. You don't receive any scholarships or any sort of financial aid. This is an unfortunate reality for many students seeking a higher education. It is our hope that someday that this will change.
Hope. Our hope is most likely like everyone else's around the world as well. And that is to be able to go to college not having to worry about the price point of it and not being able to pay off debt that could be in the future.
For paying for college, everyone has struggles with it, and there's very many obstacles because no one's the same. You can see later on in our group that all of our experiences with FAFSA, loans, scholarships, and grants is all different because it just depends on everything. They don't look at it personally, and it's all different. My name's Sylvia. I'm majoring in social work, and for me, I got really lucky. I got both FAFSA and grants. I go to school, it's all paid for, and without it, I'd have to get another job or maybe two and have to pay everything out of pocket, which would be a financial struggle on not only me, but on my family.
Hi, my name's Shireen, and I received FAFSA, and I'm majoring in nursing. So if I haven't received FAFSA, I'd probably just be just finding a job and working, because with FAFSA, it pays for my whole, what I'm basically studying in, and I don't really have to pay for anything right now because FAFSA covers me.
Hi, my name is Jasmine, and I was very fortunate in receiving a merit-based scholarship and coming to Moraine for my very first semester. And it was very good because that took a financial burden off my parents and off me. I still have to work to pay off the fees that the scholarship doesn't cover. But overall, the scholarship was very great because it offers students, like first-year students, working hard in high school and paying to pay their what they're studying for, and it's a very great opportunity.
I'm Kiana, and I'm majoring in nursing. Last year, I went away to school, and I had to apply for FAFSA in order to actually pay for it, and I ended up getting a loan, and after one semester, I was $25,000 in debt, so I decided to come to Moraine because it was significantly cheaper, and I didn't get any money from FAFSA for Moraine, and I neglected to look for scholarships. So I do have to pay for everything out of pocket, and my family helps me, but it is a struggle. So I do encourage people to go to the Moraine Valley website and see if there's anything that applies to you scholarship-wise. The Moraine Valley website does state that 29% of their students here do receive some sort of financial aid, but that's a lot of people that don't and that do have to pay out of pocket, whether it's themselves working to pay for their education or it's an added burden on their family. So if you want to kind of alleviate some of that and make this a little easier for you, then you should really look to apply for FAFSA or to look on the website and educate yourself and see if there's anything that can apply to you to make this easier.
Hi, my name's Summer. I'm a marine biology major. When I first applied at Moraine, I applied for FAFSA. I got denied. Basically, they just looked at my mother's income and decided since that 1 year she had gotten a higher amount of money that she usually gets, that I didn't need any help at all. When in reality, I do. So I got a loan, and now after I leave here, I have to worry about paying that off.
All of us, as you can see, we all have different struggles and obstacles with it, but there is clubs here. We have student government, which acts with the advisory committee, and they work really close with them. And it's a liaison with them, so they work really closely and they talk. And if you speak with them, or you can join student government and discuss with them about what you think about it, and they can talk with administration, and they can have more that they can help you with than just sitting around and just complaining about it.
Social media is something we all use today, and we use it sometimes to even speak up. So there's an article we all read, Shaping Student Activists, and it states that social networking is a part of online mobilization as political messages hold considerable sway when accompanied by familiar faces and informal conversations.
So like Shireen said, we all do use social media, so why not use it for the greater good? So there are many like Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts that do speak up about this. So if you just literally go on any platform of social media and just search it, you can find like some sort of account that maybe you can even like chime in and like comment on something, post something, anything, and it would just be you speaking out for it.
The question that I want to raise to the audience here is how many of you have applied or received a scholarship from the Marine Valley website? And as you can see, no one has. So this is why it poses a problem that like students should be aware of their opportunities so that their higher education down the path, like they can have more resources and they can be successful in their higher education.
Thanks. Okay, our next group.
Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about with my group. My name is Sylvia. There's Aya, Gabe, Emily, and Joe. And our topic today is about college tuition.
In today's world, we as college students face a multitude of problems, whether it be stress, motivation, transportation, or even support from our family. But the one thing that we can all connect through is the cost of higher education, the tuition. It has become a major problem in today's society. Just so for students who are going to be the ones that create a better world, who change society, some of us are not allowed the option because we cannot afford the means to bring that out of us. And that would be school, universities. And that's why all of us are here, because we have noticed, before it was too late, that Moraine Valley, or even just community colleges in total, offer us the means to, say, enlighten ourselves without having to burden ourselves with this crippling debt. I have my colleague Aya over here. She has her own personal story that she can add to this.
So, college debt or college tuition is something probably every college student can relate to, of just affording it. A little personal experience with me is that my parents didn't finish their education due to the cost of college. And, my dad always tells us, and he tells me, my siblings, my cousins, and everyone in our family that education is the most important thing you could have. No one can take that away from you. No one. That education is stuck in your brain and no one can take that. But with college tuition being really high, there is, like what Gabe said, and like what other people said in the groups before us, that it is hard. And it could be because of transportation issues. It could be because your family can't afford it. It's maybe because you just can't. But there's this saying my uncle tells me, and it's, if there's a problem, there's 20 solutions to solving that problem. Now, there are ways in today's society, tuition is really high for most of us. And, we try our best, and we believe that everyone should have a right to higher education, no matter who you are, what gender you are, no matter if you're rich or poor. Everyone has the chance, and everyone should get the right for a higher education no matter what. And yes, there's going to be struggles along the way, but you know, those struggles that you're dealing with for like 4 or 6 years is going to be worth it at the end, because when you get that higher education, you're going to be living in satisfaction. You're going to go to work every day in the field that you wanted to go into, and you're going to be like, I love my job. And instead of someone who didn't finish the higher education, they just end up miserable and they have to work paycheck for paycheck, and they just hate themselves. And the people who don't go through higher education, the people that don't finish college, and I always see this in my workplace, they always tell me I regret doing it. And I tell them my plan, which is to go to Marine Valley for 2 years and then to transfer to a 4-year university. And they always tell me that's the smartest thing you've done. And that is, I wish, that's my biggest regret, is not going to community college for 2 years and then transferring to a 4-year university. There are ways you can get free money, like what has been said in the other presentations, and you know, there's scholarships and there's grants, but is like what they have been saying in the past groups is, are people actually putting in the effort? Are people actually looking for them? No. So you just have to raise awareness for that. You know, your voice is your most powerful weapon. And it's just that time you take in yourself. You have to put it, it's up to you. You need to put in the effort and what you want to do. How can you find that free money to help you pay off your cost of tuition?
Continuing with what I said about your voice being your most powerful weapon, it is. All of us are up here standing today talking about higher education, and all of our peers are also talking today about higher education. It's not us taking action and, you know, people starting riots or, you know, violence or anything. It's your voice. Instead of going out and, you know, harming someone and saying, no, you're wrong, everyone's voicing their opinion. And that's how the world should be, and not creating violence. You know, going up here and standing up here is great for everyone, because everyone gets to hear someone's different opinion, and people can create their own ideas coming from other people. My personal experience with that is I've seen, you know, videos and stuff of people talking about a different topic, and I've created my own new ideas from it. It's progress in moving and just, you know, evolving new ideas, and then you can, you know, spread your voice around about higher education or whatever topic you like. Just making that progress is getting everyone one step closer to finding a solution that will make everyone happy, and, you know, everyone can then, you know, you could change it here and there if something doesn't work. And so it's just like the scholarships, you know, like your other groups have said, you go to Marine Valley and you can go and find a scholarship and apply for it that you feel would suit you and that you qualify for. We also went to Building M to figure out how you can start your own scholarship or create one yourself. And they've informed us that you would have to get a petition like thing where you get people to sign and agree with, hey, this is a good idea, and then the school will consider it, and they will find a way to, you know, make it work. So your voice is your most powerful weapon. All in all, you know, just talking about something is even better than just sitting down and just being quiet.
So, sorry. So, like, the question that most groups are asking is higher education worth it? And to me, it is, because if you think about it this way, without higher education, and if people didn't think it was worth it, we wouldn't have doctors and lawyers, nurses and teachers. And without doctors, who would take care of us when we're sick and hurt? And without, you know, lawyers, who would defend us, you know? And then even police officers and veterinarians, like, without veterinarians, like, who would take care of our sick animals? So, and most importantly, without teachers, who would teach us? Like, who would educate us? Like, no one would be educated, and then the world would kind of just, like, probably fall apart. So I think education is worth it, and I think most people agree about that. And it is worth it, but, like, the cost isn't really worth it. But if you apply for scholarships and grants and all that, and you just make it through somehow, it will be worth it to you in the end. It really will. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I feel like a DJ. I'm not playing, you know. All right. So start off today. I think it's like we were born in a diverse world. I guess I'm a first-generation student. My parents only went to the 6th grade. They never got to high school. Don't know what college is. In grade school, I was really confused. Everyone was talking about, oh, I really want to grow up. I really want to be this. I really want to be that. I want to go to college and I want to like dorm and have parties and everything. For me, I was like all confused. I was like always in the corner. I was figuring out like, where do I fit here? Where I come from, education is not #1 priority. It's money. Money, money, money. Everywhere you go, you're asked for money. If you want food, you need money. You want to go to college, you need money. Where do we get this money? It's pretty difficult. A lot of people get scholarships, get FAFSA. I myself don't get FAFSA at all. I don't get any government financial aid. I applied for a couple scholarships when I was a senior in high school. I got a couple of them. Wasn't a lot, but I paid most of my tuition out of pocket. Seems like a universal struggle. We all struggle to pay for college. We all need that money. Where do we get that money? That's up to us. We all have different approaches to it. Some of us give up. Some of us, it's like, I'll take out loans. I'll pay that later. But then, like, you end up with stress. Just a few weeks ago, I was taking a math exam, and I was supposed to make my last payment that day. And I'm sitting at my desk. I'm over here just, okay, square root of 36 is 6. Wait, I have to make that payment. Just out of nowhere, it just comes, I have to make that payment. It's always behind the head. It's that little voice, hey, buddy, pay up. And it's like, oh, no. So we all have different experiences. I'll hand it over to Haley and Katie. By the way, my name is Luis. I'm a radiologic technology major here at Moraine Valley. And yeah.
Hello, my name is Haley Kopp. I am studying in physical therapy. Right here, I have this statistics from Ohio State University website, and the average cost of a college tuition is approximately $30,000. The average loan is about 69% of people owe $30,000. Yet the average dropout rate is 59%. The average graduate rate is 40%. 22% of people tried but couldn't finish it off that well. 60% of people worry about not having the ability to pay for college, and 50% of those people worry towards monthly experiences. Coming from me, I have to pay for my own college, so I have a variety of struggles due to the other bills and expenses that I have to deal with. I'll hand it over to Katie so she can explain her struggles as well.
Hi, I'm Katie. This is my first year in Moraine Valley. And just to start off with a little facts, the average in-state tuition at public university in the U.S. is around $9,000. I don't know about you guys, but I really don't have $9,000 in my pocket. 1 in 10 graduates accumulate over $40,000 in debt. This doesn't include dropouts. I plan on transferring over to Iowa. I want to major in education. And just the Iowa tuition is $40,000. So I don't really want to be in debt of $40,000. Probably more too, since I'm going in education, so my education's going to go further and further. In my own experience, my dad, I'm very lucky. My dad pays for my tuition here. My parents are divorced, so he just lost his job, and we're both having trouble. I had to pay for it, and my dad has to pay for it. I work part-time because I'm full-time here. It's pretty hard for us to even pay for Moraine Valley, so I don't know what's going to happen when I transfer over to Iowa.
So I'm going to be talking about the hopes, our perspectives of hopes in this world. College is expensive, but we all hope it's worth it at the end. I feel like there are ways that obviously we can improve our tuition. FAFSA, and my biggest advice would be doing it early. Personal experience, I did my FAFSA very late, and fortunately I was able still to receive the money that I did. It wasn't at all a lot, and I do have to pay a very high amount out, but I did get lucky to get some. But biggest, advice is to do it early, just so you can get as much as you can. There is also the American Opportunity Tax Credit, which offers approximately $10,000 to families in need for it. And biggest topic is student loans, which can be a good and bad thing just due to the fact of interest and, struggling to pay it off. It gets hard, and we all need time to pay it off. We all hope that it gets easier to pay. We're looking more into the government being not lenient, just more considerate about the people, like me who have to pay by myself, the people who are going through different struggles who can't pay for it, just more considerate about those who do.
Yeah, like they said, I have my personal struggles. There's only one person in my house that works. That's my dad. I really wanted to get a job. I grew up wanting to be like the big brother, just the role model, the leader. Turns out, actually, my younger brother, the next one after me, is the one who's taking on that role. He's the one that's going to be working. He's the one that's going to be driving everywhere. I feel like I felt a little bit down because I really wanted to do that. Like, I really wanted to show them that I can actually work. Right now, I'm looking for a job at Moraine, maybe next semester, for the hours that I don't have class. But my hopes is that the government comes up with a solution for all of us. Like she said, yeah. Be considerate about people that have their own personal struggles, not just based on what your family makes, that's what you get. Like FAFSA, I'm not sure how it works. I never apply for FAFSA. I'm a DACA student, so I can't really apply for that. But I feel like solutions maybe it's always scholarships. You got to look out. You got to be on the lookout for scholarships. I don't know how many of us in here have that naggy mom that goes, "Where are you? When are you coming home?" or whatever. But FastWeb is a good website. I was giving FastWeb when I was a senior in high school. They were like, "Join this." They send you push notifications every hour or so. So every hour or so I get notifications. Oh, here's this $5,000 scholarship. Maybe you can apply for it. Maybe this, maybe that. It's it sends more text messages than my mom does. But it's a good resource. I really recommend you guys using it if you really want to look for scholarships. It has over millions of scholarships to help you. Solutions. That's one of the solutions I would recommend. Other solutions, it's maybe here at Moraine, there's a lot of scholarships as well. They also offer FAFSA workshops, right? You guys want to talk about FAFSA workshops? Or?
FAFSA workshops are just, I guess, trying to learn more about it and hoping to get more money. Unfortunately, my own opinion, not my opinion, but in my own experience, I did apply for FAFSA. I didn't get any money out of it because I am dependent on my dad and he doesn't have a job, so they're going on that. And also paying school a priority. You can't just sit around and pay for junk like clothes and shoes and food that you don't need. And I'm guilty of that. I buy everything on paycheck to paycheck, and it's really bad of me. So I'm really trying to change that. But make school a priority. You can't just go out, party, and do everything you want. You can't. School's important. That's how you make a living. That's how you make a life.
So I'd like to finish off on what she was saying about making school a priority. I feel like since we have the opportunity to wait it off and pay it off, I feel like that really kind of stops us from paying it off. I feel like I'm starting to take school as a priority, like bills. I have to pay off bills every month. I feel like I should pay off school every month just so it can be easier on my part. Other plans that we offer is the Building S office does offer a financial aid office and academic advising office to help you with your academic struggles whenever you need. And also, I feel like if any of you know a high school student, you should always tell them to do good in school because that can base off the amount of money that you can get off at certain places.
When doing this research, I went on the Moraine Valley website, and I saw that they had FAFSA workshops here at Moraine Valley for senior students or whoever needs help. And I was thinking maybe as a solution, why don't you guys add a scholarship night? Have that one night, maybe once or twice a month, where everyone comes in and you all just sit around and talk about where or what are the good scholarships to apply for, or discuss where there is where the best places on the internet is to find these scholarships, and offer help for those who really can't, or offer help and motivation, because a lot of us need motivation. I mean, these last 2 weeks are gonna be brutal for us. I know we all want to get out, just finish school and enjoy those holidays, but it's there's always that thing in the back of your mind that says maybe you should get something done.
Okay, hello. My name is Bailey. This is my second year at Marine. I'm majoring in elementary education. Okay, all students have a lot in common. Everyone in this room knows that it's hard to pay for college. Students struggle every year and every day to pay for their school. It's difficult for students to go to school and have a job part-time or full-time and having a social life all at the same time. Many students work full-time and still struggle to pay all at the same time. I nanny full-time. I babysit or nanny 4 kids. I work at every morning from 4 a.m. to when I have to come to school. I have to get them ready for school. I have to get them ready. I get them to the bus stop, and then I come to class, and then right after class I go back home, get them off the bus, watch them till their parents get home till about 8 or 9 at night, and I do pretty much all my homework and studying while I'm basically watching these kids, and it's really extremely frustrating sometimes. I'm sure parents like you know how it is. There are students who go to school and also have to pay for other expenses and bills outside of paying for their schooling. I'm very fortunate and my parents pay for my schooling, but there are also students in this room that know that they have to pay for their schooling plus other expenses and bills. Students like me don't always think about the struggle that those students have to go through paying for those bills and expenses because usually their parents are always paying for it. Many students go from high school, go to college from high school, not knowing, going from very minimal responsibility to having to think about how they're going to pay for college for almost half like after they graduate from school, and they don't know the reality. Our hope is for everyone to be able to pay for school and to go to get their education that they need and deserve to pursue their dream and careers and life that they want. Without education, it's almost impossible to get your career that you want after you graduate. Yeah, that's it.
Hi, I'm Marissa. I am currently in my first year at Marine Valley. I am a second generation college student, and I don't know about y'all, but like ever since like I was younger, like my grandma and my mom like just like pushed like education and school onto me. My grandma like only received a 3rd grade education, so like she was just like, just go to school, like that's it, like go to school, get a good job, and then like you'll be set for the rest of your life. And same with my mom, cause like when my grandma came here with my grandpa, she was about 17 years old and she had a baby, and her and my grandpa somehow, I don't know how, sent 10 kids to private school, and with only my grandpa working. And they then like pushed like their kids to go to college. Not everybody went to college, but that's okay. But my mom did. And then so ever since I was younger, I was like 8 years old, they were like giving me like pamphlets like UIC, Loyola. I was like, I didn't know what to do with this, but like I knew it was just a part of what I was gonna do when I was older. And then I was hit with the reality of like how much college was. Like I applied to UIC, I got in, but it was $10,000 a year and didn't have $10 a year plus like books, transportation, all that. So I came here instead. At first I was like kind of like iffy about it, like community college, like didn't know it was like different from university, but I came here, it's the same thing. It's a lot cheaper. It's cool. I could transport here fine. But like I feel like it's hard for like students to like have to say no to a school that they wanted to go to because of the money. That should never be an option. Like yes, there's scholarships, there's financially, there's FAFSA, but not everyone qualifies for that. And that's something that should change because everyone should be allowed an education. Education is a human right. It's not a privilege. And another like issue is like getting education to like everyone, like no matter what class you are, no matter what race you are, no matter like where you come from. And another issue that's been in the news lately is DACA. As of September 2017, the president announced that it was put to an end, but they don't know how many lives that's going to change. Those are children that came here younger, when they were like a child, from their parents who are immigrants, and they've been living here their entire life, going to school, and that's going to be put to end to them. And how can you basically tear someone from like their education, how they've been working in this country from their entire life, and just say like that, like you can't do that anymore? That's like someone going up to you, saying you gotta cut your education, you gotta go to a different country that you've never lived in. And it's crazy. Like, how could you tell someone like they can't like continue their studies? Like, you don't tell someone that. But that's becoming a reality in our country, and I know a lot of people that are being affected by this. And I feel like more people need to become educated about this and like help those people, because if it were you or someone that you know, you would care more about it. But since a lot of people, they don't know about it, they don't care about it, they don't know a lot of people with it, they don't like choose to speak up, and I think that needs to be a conversation that needs to change, because it's the right thing to do. And, okay.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and I am really nervous, so bear with me while I read. So my name is Ashley, and I am a part-time, full-time student at Marine. So I do have a job. I work part-time. So I come to school like Monday through Thursday, and I go to work right after. So first of all, that's a struggle, like trying to get all the way here from where I live and go all the way to Orland to work every single day. So that's kind of a struggle. And I feel like we're all talking about like our problems with money. So I figured that we all do have problems with money. And I'm repeating everything I'm saying. So, well, we all struggle with FAFSA and everything. So I feel that not having enough money is one of the main problems that we have as students in America. So I kind of came from like a lower income family, but not as low as it could be. So I figured most people have that problem where like lower income family students just want to like hop straight into the workforce, and they don't like really learn about like all the possibilities that they can have like in America as whatever they want it to be. Like I want to be a teacher. So I mean that's kind of weird to say because like I just don't like school, but I do want to teach, and I feel that other people like have those dreams that are just like crushed because they don't have enough money. Second, I applied for FAFSA, and I thought I was gonna get like a lot of money. Like I don't know, I just had this false hope or whatever. But I only got like half of my tuition for this year from FAFSA, and everything else had to come out of pocket. Now me, I was fortunate to have a smart parent who saved since I was born. So I have like a savings account with like all my college money, but that's only enough to pay for Marine. So I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. Probably gonna take out a loan, but yeah, I think that we should all like have an opportunity in America.
I'm Stephanie. I'm currently a full-time student at Moraine. I'm working 2 jobs, and I live apart from my parents. I moved out after like 3 weeks of being 18. And when I applied for FAFSA, I got nothing because they said my parents made enough. And that was while I was still living with them, but even then, they also have 4 other kids to pay for, and they can't afford to pay for 5 kids to go to college. And I think the FAFSA system and the financial aid system in general needs to be reworked to be more personalizable to each student in each situation. Because if you don't live with your parents, and even if you do and they have a bunch of other kids, how are they going to afford to send 5 kids all the way through school? It's not something that's conceivable. And on top of that, a lot of students, especially from lower income families, the work that they put forward, their money goes to their family to help them survive. And I have friends that miss school all the time because they have to go work or else their family's not going to eat that week. And I feel like the system of school and how everything works needs to be more flexible because a lot of kids can't afford to A lot of kids can't afford to stick to a strict schedule because they got to take their little siblings to school. They got to take them to appointments. They got to be a translator for their parents. They can't just afford to go, okay, I'm going to spend 18 hours a week at school at it specifically each and every time.
Hi, my name's Alyssa. I am a full-time student here at Moraine. This is my first year. I also work part-time as a CNA at Alden Estates, and it is difficult. I've been told by many people, oh, just go to college, you're making the smart decision to go to Moraine. Yeah, it is a smart decision, but it's also just as costly because it's still college. And both my parents are divorced, and my dad was supposedly supposed to pay for my college, but it didn't really work out. So, of course, there's always a plan B, but I'm paying for it myself now. And hearing everyone's stories made me feel better because I was like, oh, hey, I'm not the only one. And there's all of these students that are going through these struggles, and it seems like no one's really like, hey, maybe we should do something about it. So we gathered here today as a group, as a community, to say, hey, maybe we should do something about it. Maybe we should start talking about it more and be like, okay, guys, here's the problem. Like, let's get together and put our heads together and see what we can do about it. So now that you've listened to all of our presentations, I want to ask you guys, what can we do together now to make this change? And are we going to get together as a group and not just leave this classroom today and be like, oh, okay, that was a good presentation, whatever. Are you going to actually take the steps to try and improve this and be like, hey, I think we need to do something about this. Let's all get together and do something about it.
I'm Cameron. I'm a full-time student at Moraine. I work part-time at my dance studio. It's very hard getting to pay for school and to pay for daily things that we need, food, anything. My mom is currently not working, but she was when I applied for FAFSA, so it's very hard and very different now. It's very hard to pay for school now because most of it had to come out of pocket. My question is, are you willing to put aside all the opposing comments to help our changes come true for our schools? Thank you.
Well, thank you to all of the presenters. We deferred all questions and comments until this period to ensure that everybody had an opportunity to present in our limited time. So at this point, why don't we open it up for any comments, questions to the groups? The groups sometimes ask direct questions of us, so maybe there's answers or advice that can be offered. And also this handout went around that has a list of questions that were provided by the students in this room as well as other students, questions weighing upon students that the answer to which might help ease the burden. So are there any comments at this point? Well, we can go around and hear them. Awesome, we got a couple comments. So we'll go to Tish first, then we'll go to you, okay?
All right, you guys were great. I was really impressed with all of your presentations and overwhelmed by all of you talking about the struggles that you have to pay for college. Totally recognize that as something that is really common right now. So as you guys were doing your research, was there anything that you discovered that since it's a national problem, are there other schools who are addressing this issue for students that you found? Or was there anything surprising to you that like things that you think we could do here, or like why aren't we doing this here kind of stuff?
I'll bring the mic to you.
I think it should be like one of the girls said in the last group. We should all not forget about the presentation after we leave the class today. And we as a class, come 101, after that presentation, we should open and get together. And by all work together, I believe we could find some resolution for people who really, really struggle with it.
What do you think the next step will be?
Find the right people to answer our questions and help us build some kind of, I could say, a group that will be able to help students who really struggles with paying for college and families.
Yes, to your question, with Moraine Valley, I was glad to see that the scholarships that the school offers are all need-based, but I feel that like how some groups said that like some of the students, they like tend to like overlook that Moraine has scholarships and stuff like that. So I think maybe if we could have some type of notification system that can be mass sent out to students saying, hey, new scholarship, come check it out. I think that would be like an easier way for students to apply for the scholarships that Moraine offers. I mean, that would definitely be them utilizing what the school has to offer.
Okay, we have another question. Go ahead.
Does anyone else want to answer that one?
The question was, what are the next steps? What are other schools doing? What can be done in a more tangible way? Does anybody else want to weigh in on that before we take it to the next comment? Okay, maybe we'll loop back around, but go ahead.
So I just wanted to preface things by saying, I forget who exactly mentioned it in their group, but somebody mentioned student government in their group, and oh yeah, back there. So I want to thank you for that. I'm actually the president of student government, and I'd like to say that I really liked all the presentations, and I didn't even know about this until Monday when I checked the weekly updates, and I thought this was a phenomenal idea to do this for a class. And I know everybody's been saying, well, why don't we get together? Why don't we have a place where we can go to kind of bring our ideas together and do something about it? Well, there kind of is a place similar to that, and there's student government, but it's all based around what the students are willing to do and student interest. And so it's one of those things where we can't do stuff without bodies, without students coming and saying that this is what they want to see, and without participating. It's the type of thing where if enough of you are interested, we'll create a committee. The people who are interested in it, who want to make a difference, they have equal opportunity as everyone else to propose these ideas and to make them happen. Like for example, I believe 2 weeks ago, we just had a student feedback panel in the library, and we got a decent turnout, but not as many students as you would expect from what you hear. And so I would encourage you guys, like other people said, don't forget about this. If you really want to see some changes, become more involved. You guys had a lot of great ideas, a lot of stuff that I plan on proposing to the rest of the student government, hopefully implementing. And one of the things that stuck out most to me was how to get people's attention. Because at least for me, I know as a student that it's always difficult to keep on top of every single thing. I work at the same time. I obviously do student government. And obviously I'm a student as well. And things fall between the cracks. And so you don't always remember when you get home at 10 o'clock after working, after going to school and everything like that. You just want to relax. You don't always remember, oh, I got to look up all these scholarships. It would help if there was maybe an email or notification that reminded you of that. And so I'd like to just do a quick poll and ask you guys right now, what is the best way to contact you? Is it Facebook? Is it Twitter? Is it liking a page? Is it just your student email? Would it be an app of some sort? What is the best way that you guys pay attention that would be to get your attention?
I signed up for like a bunch of my classes to like the remind text messaging things, and I feel like that's the best way really to contact people, because the day before Thanksgiving, like my math class was canceled and stuff, and like a bunch of people didn't know about it because like they didn't check their student email and stuff, but I got the text message, so I knew about it, and I didn't have, I have like an hour in between my classes, so I didn't wait that hour to find out that the class was canceled because I saw it on my phone right away. So I feel like that's the best way.
I think it's safe to say that pretty much everyone's on social media. And I honestly think that Twitter might be the best way to reach all of us, only because a lot of people that I know do have Twitter. And I think that we've all seen how social media can impact our lives, and that if someone sees something on Twitter and makes it go viral, thousands and hundreds of people see it. And I think that probably would be the best way to get our point across and say, like, hey, this is what we need to focus on, and we're here, and we want you guys to know that we're here.
For me personally, it could either be email or text. I mean, I check the morning email quite often, and with my regular emails, I'm always logged on. So anytime I get something, I automatically see it. And like how with Anakin said, the remind is a really, really helpful way for like students to know about stuff. I mean, I've had it used in high school. I still use it in college. So it's a really great thing.
Anyone else? Well, just a quick show of hands. How many of you have the Remind app, and how many of you will honestly use it? You don't need to, kiss up or anything. Just how many will actually use it? That's a pretty fair amount. How many would be best to be reached by email? About as expected. How many would be best to be reached by Facebook, as in a page you like? How about Instagram? Snapchat? Twitter? All right, so it seems like Snapchat and Twitter have a bit more of a lead, and so I'll look into getting the student government a Snapchat, getting them a Twitter, and creating a Remind app, and I'll try and post that before things get out for finals. If anybody has any other comments or questions about this right now, then that's it.
Did you know that your student body president was in the room? No. What was your name again, sir?
John Donners.
Thank you. Wow. All right. Well, we're almost up. We're up against the clock here. Are there any other comments, questions, answers, concerns, anything? Okay, I want to say quickly how proud I am of all of you. I know it's very difficult to come up and speak in front of an audience, even if a familiar one, but made more difficult with a camera for sure. So thank you for your courage. And I did promise you that in doing this, you would have opportunity to at least plant the seed of inspiration for change, and I think we've seen that here today because you have spoken to the president of your student government. So, and it sounds like he's going to go and act on some of your ideas. Oh, real quick, how can students have the ear of the student government beyond this very moment right here in class?
Well, you can always stop into our student government office, which I know that a lot of you probably don't go into the U building very much unless to eat. And so the second floor of the U building, that's where our office is. We share an office with Phi Theta Kappa. And also, you could email me directly. My email, if anybody wants to write it down, is Donners, DONNERSJ, and then the number 2 at student.morainevalley, all that stuff you guys know. And then we do have a Facebook page. It's, I believe it's just student government, but if you put in student government Moraine Valley, it'll show up to find the correct one, and you can message us on that. And sadly, we don't have any other meetings for this year because of finals, but as I said, we're still going to be working on stuff moving forward. I and other members of the executive team will be working on stuff over winter break, and so keep your ideas flowing. You can stop into the office, you can email me, or you can message us through the Facebook page. Thanks.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for showing up today and being part of the conversation.